found out if their child's school met state accountability standards.
The Texas Education Agency released the yearly rankings for every school in Texas. They're based mostly on how students perform on the standardized STAR test. Schools receive either a rating of met standard or improvement required. Some Austin schools landed in the latter category, and KXAN political reporter Phil Prazen joins us with those details. Phil?
Well, Shannon and Robert, there's two main factors here. The first is a high number of students that live below the poverty line. And the second is a high number of students who speak English as a second language. 4 Austin middle schools fell short of those state standards. Burnet, Dobie, Garcia, Young Men's Leadership Academy, and Mendez are all on the improvement required list. But the district is touting a middle school that just moved off that list, and they hope that turnaround can be replicated. Teachers across AISD unpack the books and lesson plans to get ready for their new students. The ones at Martin Middle School had the state watching over their backs as they failed to meet state standards for 3 years in a row, until this year.
And it's something that we look to every single year, but we know that we have to work harder in some situations.
In the school library, Superintendent Paul Cruz announced the school is in the hot seat no longer. Students were taught courses based on one unified system, so all the teachers knew which students needed work. And Assistant Superintendent Terrence Eaton oversaw the plan.
Bodies are going through changes. They are learning how to manage that.
Now they want to implement that strategy at schools like Mendez Middle School. There, students made progress but could not hit goals on achievement, performance gaps, and post-secondary readiness. The system could help with students struggling with English.
If they have challenges of learning the language, if we have consistent way of teaching that content and the vocabulary is the same from class to class to class, it eliminates that challenge.
Eaton and AISD hope something that works at Martin can help the schools that aren't hitting their marks across the district. If a school hasn't met standard for 3 years, state law says they must create a turnaround plan. And if they don't make progress in 5 years, the school could be shut down. Phil Prazen, KXAN News.
Here's a closer look at how the TEA ranks your child's school. As Phil mentioned, there are 4 categories, largely based on STAR test scores.
The first is student achievement, which is the percentage of students who pass the STAR. Second is student progress, which looks at how students performed based on demographic categories. For example, the TEA looks at how the scores of African American students at a particular school compare to those of African American students around the state. Third is closing performance gaps, which looks at how well schools are doing to improve the test scores of lower performing students. And the fourth category is post-secondary readiness. This ranks how well elementary and middle schools are preparing students for high school, and in high school, how well students are ready for college or the workforce. The ranking also measures high school graduation rates.
Right now, the ratings only tell parents whether their child's school met the state standard. Next year, they'll get a little more specific. In 2015, state lawmakers voted to implement an A through F ranking system. It's supposed to give parents more information about how well schools are performing.
And we're sure you're